Little Susie walks in on her parents making love. She's told to wait downstairs. Her mother comes down first and tries to console her. "Mommy, what were you doing to Daddy?" "Well, sweetheart, you know how your father's a little overweight. Every day I bounce up and down on top of him to let some of the air out." The little girl starts laughing. "What's so funny, honey?" asks her mother. "You're wasting your time, Mommy. Every day when you go to work, the neighbor comes over and blows him right back up." The teacher asks the class to stand, one by one, and compose a simple sentence using appropriate be verbs. "She's beautiful," said Kate. "My dogs are fat," shouted Mark. "I is," stuttered Joe when the teacher interrupted. "You always say I am. Never say I is," said she. As fast as he could, Joe uttered, "I am the 9th letter of the alphabet." Little Johnny attended a horse auction with his father. He watched as his father moved from horse to horse, running his hands up and down the horse's legs and rump and chest. After a few minutes, Johnny asked, "Dad, why are you doing that?" His father replied, "Because when I'm buying horses, I have to make sure that they are healthy and in good shape before I buy." Johnny, looking worried, said, "Dad, I think the UPS guy wants to buy Mom." The teacher in little Johnny's school asked the class what their mothers did for a living. One little girl said her mother was a doctor. Another said her mother was an engineer. When it was little Johnny's turn, he stood up and said, "My mom's a street w***er." Naturally, after that remark, he got sent off to the principal's office. Then, 15 minutes later, he returned. So the teacher asked, "Did you tell the principal what you said in class?" Johnny said, "Yes." "Well, what did the principal say?" "He said that every job is important in our economy, gave me an apple, and asked for my phone number." A football coach noticed that his star tackle, Bubba, had so many women hanging around that he couldn't possibly handle all of them. So one day he asked, "Bubba, just what the hell is your secret?" Bubba replies, "Well, coach, whenever I'm about to make love to a woman, I always whip it out and bang it on the dresser like a hammer. This numbs it, and I can make love all night." The coach went home early one day and went to the bedroom. He heard his wife in the shower. Seeing a window of opportunity, he took off his clothes and started banging his manhood on the dresser. His wife stuck her head out of the shower and asked, "Bubba, is that you?" It was the end of the school year, and a teacher was receiving gifts from her pupils. The florist's son handed her a wrapped gift. She gently shook it, held it overhead, and said, "I bet I know what it is. Flowers." "That's right," the boy said. "But how did you know?" "Oh, just a wild guess," she replied. The daughter of a baker presented her a gift next. Lifting it a few times, she said, "I think it's a box of cake." "That's right. But how did you know?" asked the girl. "Oh, just a wild guess," said the teacher. The next gift was from the son of the owner of the local liquor store. The teacher held the package overhead, but noticed it was leaking a clear liquid. She touched a drop of the leakage with her finger and put it to her tongue. "Is it wine?" she asked. "No," the boy replied, with some excitement. The teacher repeated the process, tasting a larger drop of the leakage. "Is it champagne?" she asked. "No," the boy replied again, with even more excitement. The teacher took one more big taste before declaring, "I give up, what is it?" With great glee, the boy replied, "Surprise! It's a puppy." A little boy goes to his dad and asks, "What is politics?" The father says, "Well, son, let me try to explain it this way. I'm the breadwinner of the family, so let's call me the money. Your mother, She's the administrator of the money, so we'll call her the government. We're here to take care of your needs, so we'll call you the people. The nanny, we'll consider her the working class. And your baby brother, we'll call him the future. Now, think about that and see if that makes sense. The little boy goes off to bed thinking about what Dad had said. Later that night, he hears his baby brother crying, so he gets up to check on him. He finds that the baby has soiled his diaper. The little boy goes to his parents' room and finds his mother sound asleep. Not wanting to wake her, he goes to the nanny's room. Finding the door locked, he peeks in the keyhole and sees his father in bed with the nanny. He gives up and goes back to bed. The next morning, the little boy says to his father, "Dad, I think I understand the concept of politics now." The father says, "Good son, tell me in your own words what you think politics is all about." The little boy replies, "Well, while the money is the working class, the government is sound asleep, the people are being ignored, and the future is in the capper." The bartender is concerned to hear this and tells the man, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you kill yourself. I wouldn't be able to live with myself." The man asks him, "Well, what would you do in my situation?" The bartender thinks for a moment and says, "Honestly, if I found out a guy was sleeping with my wife, I wouldn't sit around feeling sorry for myself or drinking myself to death. I'd kill the guy." The man leaps from his stool and shouts, "Hey, that's a great idea, thanks," and runs out of the bar, leaving the shocked bartender behind. A couple hours later, the man walks back into the bar with a smile on his face. The bartender is nervous now. He's afraid to ask, but eventually says, "Did you kill the guy?" The man says, "No, I slept with your wife. Whiskey, please." A 16-year-old teen comes home with a Porsche. His parents began to yell and scream. "Where did you get that car?" He calmly told them, "I bought it today." "With what money?" demanded his father. "I know how much a Porsche costs." "Well, that does so," said the boy. "This one cost me $15. The parents began to yell even louder. "Who would sell a car like this for $15? They asked. "It was the lady up the street," said the boy. "Don't know her name. They just moved in. She saw me ride past on my bike and asked me if I wanted to buy a Porsche for $15. "Oh my goodness," gasped the mother. "She must be mentally ill. Who knows what she will do next? Paul, you go right up there and see what's going on. And you, my son, should be ashamed of taking advantage." So the boy's father walked up the street to the house where the lady lived and found her out in her yard, calmly planting flowers. He introduced himself as the father of the boy she sold the Porsche to for $15 and asked her what happened. "Well," she said, "this morning I got a phone call from my husband. I thought he was on a business trip, but I learned from a friend he has run off to Hawaii with his secretary and really doesn't intend to come back. He claimed he was really stranded and asked me to sell his new Porsche and send him the money. So I did." A wife was in bed with her daughters when she heard her husband's key in the door. "Stay where you are," she told the panicked lover. "He's so drunk he won't even notice you're in bed with me." Sure enough, the husband lurched into bed none the wiser, but a few minutes later, through a drunken haze, he saw 6 feet sticking out at the end of the bed. He turned to his wife. "Hey, there are 6 feet in this bed. There should only be 4. What's going on?" "Nonsense," said the wife. "You're so drunk you miscounted. Get out of bed and try again. You can see better from over there." The husband climbed out of bed and counted. 1, 2, 3, 4. "Oh, okay, you were right." At a winery, the regular taster died, and the director started looking for a new one to hire. A drunkard with a ragged, dirty look came in to apply for the position. The director of the winery wondered how to send him away. He gave him a glass to drink. The drunk tried it and said, "It's a Muscat. 3 years old, grown on a north slope, matured in a steel containers. Low grade but acceptable. That's correct, said the boss, astonished. Another glass. This is a Cabernet, 8 years old, a southwestern slope, oak barrels, matured at 8 degrees. Requires 3 more years for the finest results. Correct, a third glass. It's a Pinot Blanc champagne, high grade and exclusive, the drunk said calmly. The director was blown away, but in case this was some sort of hoax, he wanted to put the man to a real test. He winked at his secretary, secretly suggesting something. She left the room and came back in with a glass of urine. The alcoholic tried it. It's a blonde, 26 years old, 3 months pregnant, and if I don't get the job, I'll name the father. Dad, my math teacher wants you to come in to speak with her, said Billy after coming home on Monday. Why? What happened? Asked his father. Well, she asked me to multiply 7 times 9. So I did and told her 63. Then she asked me to multiply 9 times 7. So I told her what's the point if the answer's going to be the same. Well, yeah, what is the point if you already answered her question? Okay, I'll try to make it in after work if I can. Tuesday rolls around and Billy goes to his dad. Hey, did you go to my school today? No, not yet. Can you visit my gym teacher too? He wants to speak with you as well. What for? Today in gym he told me to lift my right arm up, so I did. Then he told me to lift my left arm up, so I did that too. Then he told me to lift my right leg up, so I did that as well. When he told me to lift my left leg up, I asked him what I was supposed to be standing on if I did that. Well, yeah. How are you supposed to raise both your legs? Okay, I'll have a talk with him as well. Wednesday rolls around, and Billy once more comes up to his dad. Hey, Dad, don't bother coming to school. I was expelled. What? Why? So this morning, the principal calls me into his office. When I walk in, the math teacher, gym teacher, and the art teacher are all waiting there. What is the art teacher doing there? That's what I said. A reporter visits a small village farm to interview a farmer about his sheep. Reporter: So Billy, what to feed your sheep? Billy: I feed the white one corn mix. Reporter: What about the black one? Billy: I feed it corn mix as well. Reporter: Okay, where do your sheep sleep? Billy: The white one sleeps in the underground shack. Reporter: What about the black one? Billy: It sleeps in the underground shack as well. Reporter: Okay. How old are your sheep? Billy: The white one's 11. Reporter: What about the black one? Billy: It's 11 as well. Reporter: Okay, Billy, both of your sheep live the same way. Then why do you keep talking about them separately? Billy: It's because the white one is mine. Reporter: What about the black one then? Billy: It's mine as well. A young man named Theseus moves to a lakeside fishing village looking for work. When he arrives, he finds one of the residents, Justin, is interested in going out and seeing the world and wants to sell his fishing boat to fund that trip. Thinking that it might be a good way to make a living, Theseus buys the boat and spends the next few years learning the trade, establishing a customer base, and building a thriving fishing business for himself. Eventually, he realizes the village's market is saturated and he'd make more money if he could sell his catch to other towns as well. He looks into modifying the small boat into more of a barge, allowing him to carry more cargo and navigate up and down the river, which connects his village's lake to the sea. Eventually, he realizes he can make more money by trading all sorts of goods and gets out of the fishing business altogether. After spending the better part of a decade on the same shipping route up and down the river, he learns that salvage divers are making a ton of money exploring old shipwrecks in the nearby bay. He reasons he could beat the competition to finding if he could modify his boat to dive underwater, making it easier to locate and salvage new wrecks. He spends a significant amount of his savings employing the best engineers he can afford, and his ship is successfully turned into a submersible. He quickly makes back his investment and is living large. One day, While selling his latest batch of salvage in a port town, he runs into Justin. After some small talk, Justin asks, "Whatever happened to that old fishing boat I sold you?" Theseus responds, "Oh, it's right here," gesturing to the ship. "That looks nothing like my boat. Are you crazy?" Theseus thought about it for a second, and between all of the years of repairs and maintenance, and all of the modifications he's made to expand his business, he's not sure that anything's left of the original ship. He then replies to Justin, "Well, I suppose one thing is for sure. Nothing original can be found on this sub."